Ezio Basti with the Zone. Pleasure to be joined by Frank Warren. Frank, we've just seen an absolute bang of a fight, and to be honest, a great card all round. What do you make of it?
What I make of it? I mean, it was a fabulous night's boxing, fabulous fights. Got a little problem, haven't we, with Lee?
Yeah.
He's in hospital at the moment. We're just waiting to get from an early fight, one of the prelim fights. He's been detained, and we just pray to God that he'll be okay. That took a bit of a shine off it, but the fights themselves have been brilliant.
Now, obviously, everyone watching this and who saw the fight will be praying for a quick recovery for Lee. Pierce O'Leary and Mark Chamberlain, that was, arguably fight of the night. It kind of, Mark Chamberlain started the fight well, then Pierce O'Leary got back into it. How did you have it?
I thought Mark started, as you say, very, very well. 2 knockdowns in 2 different knockdowns in the round, so they were 10-8 rounds, so he was well up. And then Pierce started getting himself together, and then it started to even up. And when he hit him with that body shot, that was probably evenish, or just catching up to it, and it became even more interesting, didn't it? And Mark done well, gritted his teeth, the same as Pierce had done when he went down, gritted his teeth and got back into it. And the finish was I can't say a surprise, but the way it all happened, he just caught him. And one thing about Mark, he's a good finisher if he gets you going, and that's what happened. But a brilliant fight, and as I always say, fights like that, it takes 2 supremely good quality fighters to deliver, and they delivered in big style.
Definitely, and 2 massive stars here. Pierce O'Leary, the crowds, I think we both witnessed it, but for the viewers at home, just try to describe, the atmosphere before the fight and even during the fight.
It's hard. I mean, as you say, the atmosphere, and you've got to take your hat to Mark as well, coming to the Lion's Den. I mean, he's come over here and he showed a lot of balls. He showed a lot of character, and as I say, the Dublin got behind the local hero in style, and it was just an unbelievable atmosphere and an unbelievable fight.
Obviously, early days, the fight's only just finished, but do you reckon there could be possibly a rematch?
There is a rematch clause in the contracts. It was a voluntary defence.
Okay, and would you hopefully be bringing that one back here to 3 rounds?
I don't know. We'll have to let the boys heal up, and we'll talk about that.
Definitely, and exciting times for Queensbury in a few weeks. We've got Moses Itauma versus Filip Hrgović.
It's always exciting times for Queensbury, because we've got an exciting shows, young man. Yeah, we've got a great fight there. A really, really great fight between those 2. I'm looking forward to that. And
Moses was here tonight. Have you spoken to him? In the camp. It's really the biggest fight, the biggest test of his career.
It is. He's in with a guy who's ranked in the top 4 or 5 in every governing body, and he's a performer, isn't he? You've seen him. He's a tough sod, and especially early on in fights. So Moses, this is a big step up for him.
And going back to that, keeping on topic of heavyweights and go back to the main card, I think Adam Melanian had a great performance. Speaking to him after, he's saying that he's confident he's going to be undisputed world champion.
Well, he does what he has to do. He gets rid of opponents. The guy came in a very late notice after his original opponent pulled out yesterday, so it was tough. But he did what you've got to do, which is go out there and impose yourself. And he does that. He's done that in his 3 fights that he's had, and he's done it in great style.
Definitely, and we know Fabio Wardley and Daniel Dubois will be having a fight. The rematch, obviously, the first fight was another great heavyweight tear-up. Do you know any news of when we could see that rematch happening?
I would think that'll go on sometime in the late autumn.
And last couple of things for me, Frank. Obviously, both Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua fought last week. Have you spoken to Tyson since his win against Marisvac?
Yeah, I've spoken to him a few times. Yeah, he's in good. He's with his family at the moment on the Isle of Man, and he's very happy, and he just wants to get the fight on.
What did you make of his performance?
Who, Tyson?
Yeah.
Tyson did what he had to do. He just didn't want to be rusty. He went and had a workout. He did it for charity. All the gate money went to a charity in Thailand, and he's ensuring he's getting no ring rust in the system.
And the day after AJ fought, he got the victory, but people didn't expect it to kind of, go how it did. What did you make of that fight?
What did I make of it? Look, I think Tyson's a big favourite. I've said that all along. Styles make fights, and I think Tyson will stop AJ. He would do what Daniel Dubois did.
Did you think, so on AJ's performance, do you think he looked, a little bit past his best?
Well, he's not the same guy he is he? I mean, how old is he now? It's like
36.
I'm an old geezer. We're not he's been working out with Usyk and doing what he's got to do. But look, he looks incredible. They've got him doing a new, different physical regime. But what you can't do in boxing, you can't put muscles on your chin.
Definitely. Frank, anything you want to add off to the interview before we round off?
Sorry?
Anything you want to add to the interview before we round off?
Just pleased. It was another great show that we put on, and people come out, and our thoughts are with Lee and his family, and we pray that he's going to be okay and come through this.
Definitely, Frank. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you.
This interview with Frank, Warren covers far more than just the results of one boxing event. It provides insight into the emotional side of the sport, reviews the night's biggest fights, and gives fans updates on several of boxing's biggest names. While the event delivered excitement, knockdowns, and dramatic finishes, the interview also reminds viewers that boxing is a dangerous sport where safety always comes first. The interview begins on a serious note. Frank Warren explains that despite the success of the event, his thoughts are focused on Liam, who was taken to the hospital after suffering an injury during one of the preliminary fights. Warren says the entire team is praying for his recovery, showing that even after a successful promotion, the health of the fighters is always the biggest priority. This emotional moment changes the mood of the interview and reminds fans that every boxer risks their health when they step into the ring. After addressing the injury, the discussion turns to the spectacular fight between Pierce O'Leary and Mark Chamberlain, which many fans considered the fight of the night. Frank Warren explains that Mark Chamberlain started the contest brilliantly by scoring 2 knockdowns early, giving himself a strong advantage on the scorecards. However, Pierce O'Leary refused to give up. He slowly found his rhythm, began landing cleaner punches, and eventually hurt Chamberlain with a powerful body shot that completely changed the momentum of the fight. Warren praises both fighters for showing tremendous courage, determination, and heart. He explains that great fights are created when 2 talented boxers refuse to quit, and this contest was a perfect example. Even after suffering setbacks, both men continued pushing forward, giving the crowd an unforgettable battle from start to finish. He also highlights Mark Chamberlain's finishing ability, saying that once he senses his opponent is hurt, he knows how to close the show. The interview then focuses on the incredible atmosphere inside the arena. Warren describes the crowd as electric, with thousands of fans passionately supporting Pierce O'Leary. At the same time, he gives credit to Mark Chamberlain for entering hostile territory and performing under enormous pressure. According to Warren, it takes real courage to fight in front of an opponent's home crowd, and Chamberlain earned everyone's respect for doing exactly that. Another major topic is the possibility of a rematch. Frank Warren confirms that there is a rematch clause in the contract because the fight was a voluntary title defense. Although no decision has been made yet, he says both fighters should recover first before discussions begin. Considering how competitive and entertaining the fight was, a second meeting would likely generate huge interest from boxing fans around the world. The conversation then shifts toward Queensberry Promotions' future plans, particularly the highly anticipated heavyweight clash between Moses Itauma and Filip Hrgović. Warren describes this as the biggest challenge of Itauma's young career. He points out that Hrgović is ranked among the world's best heavyweights and has years of experience at the highest level. According to Warren, this fight will reveal whether Moses Itauma is truly ready to compete with the elite heavyweights. Frank also discusses the performance of rising heavyweight Adam, who stepped in against a late replacement opponent after the original fighter withdrew. Warren believes Adam handled the situation professionally by dominating the fight and finishing his opponent in impressive fashion. He says this is exactly what top prospects are expected to do when unexpected changes occur before fight night. Attention then turns to another major heavyweight matchup, the expected rematch between Fabio Wardley and Daniel Dubois. Warren reveals that the rematch is likely to take place during late autumn. Since their first meeting was exciting and action-packed, fans are already looking forward to seeing the heavyweights battle once again. The interview also includes updates on 2 of Britain's biggest boxing stars, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Warren confirms that he has spoken with Tyson Fury several times since Fury's recent victory. He says Tyson is currently spending time with his family while continuing to stay active and avoid ring rust. Warren believes Fury's recent fight served its purpose by keeping him sharp and prepared for the bigger challenges ahead. When discussing Anthony Joshua, Warren acknowledges that AJ secured the victory in his latest fight, but admits that his performance did not convince everyone. He believes Joshua is no longer the same explosive fighter he was earlier in his career. Warren mentions that although Joshua has changed his training methods and improved his physical conditioning, experience has shown that physical strength alone cannot guarantee success in boxing. Frank Warren finishes with a bold prediction about a potential Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua showdown. He confidently states that Tyson Fury would be the clear favorite because of his style, boxing intelligence, and overall skill set. Warren even compares the possible outcome to Daniel Dubois' victory over Joshua, suggesting Fury could stop AJ if the fight eventually happens. The interview ends on a respectful and emotional note, while Warren celebrates another successful Queensberry event and congratulates the fighters for delivering outstanding entertainment. He once again sends his thoughts and prayers to Liam and his family. It is a reminder that beyond the excitement, rivalries, and championships, the safety and well-being of the athletes will always remain the most important part of the sport. Overall, this interview provides everything boxing fans could want: emotional moments, fight analysis, future matchups, heavyweight updates, and honest opinions from one of boxing's most experienced promoters. It leaves fans excited about the future, while also highlighting the respect and responsibility that come with promoting professional boxing. If you'd like